This is a Nordstar 36 Plus. In fact, this is the very first one into the UK. These are built in Finland. It's very much your sort of typical walk around wheelhouse, forward sloping screens, the kind of thing that the Finnish are so very, very good at. The difference with the Nordstars, I think, is the fact they're just a little bit more contemporary. Inside, a lot of these tend to be very classically finished, because it is a popular concept of boat for the Finnish. But this one, yeah, it's just a little bit more modern inside. So we'll step on. That little hatch there gives you access to the outdrives. So if you ever have a problem, you get a rope round the prop or whatever else, that takes you straight down to them. You just tilt those up and you can reach them. It's all, you know, very much of the style on the outside. So you get the rubber fendering around the edge, all that kind of stuff. Nice solid stainless steel rails around the place. But I'm going to take you inside first of all, because I think that's the bit that makes these kind of stand apart a little bit. So if we go into here, I'll just close that behind me. So if we go into here, straight away look at the lighting in the ceiling and the headlining generally, in fact, and the woodwork as well. There's a little bit less of it, a lot more of this sort of very pale finishes. It just feels, I mean, it's still a lovely quality feel to it, but this is what I mean, it's just a little bit more contemporary. Big seating area around here. The other thing you've got on this, a lot of boats of this style have the galley up here. This one doesn't, it's just got this little sideboard down here, so this is just bits of storage and bits and pieces like that. You've also got things like the central heating control down here, fusion stereo and so forth. But the galley on this one is down on the lower deck. That's unusual. This is quite a nice feature. This one here allows you to extend this seating around a table. It's a height adjustable table, or you can drop that back the other way, like so. And now you've got forward facing seating next to the helm. Really nice helm seat with these arms that drop down. So very, very comfortable. And again, you look at this, it's all kind of, you know, that sort of soft touch, low glare material rather than a lot of teak everywhere. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with the classic look, it just depends what you want. But if you want something a bit more modern, this does it. You've got the side access doors, again, very typical for this style of boat. Across here we've got the engine controls, the joystick control. She's on outdrives, this one, but that gives you the joystick manoeuvring. There's a bow thruster as well, and the side doors on either side, all very typical. This is what I mean about the galley down layout. So if we wander down here, this is tucked away on the lower deck, and it's a nice size for this style of boat. Quite often these are really small because the Finnish use these as commuters, and so the galley doesn't really feature. It's much more than an afterthought. On this, it's much more like you get on more of a cruiser style of boat. That is bin in there and a bit more storage. Make sure we don't trap that cable. There we go. And then we've got fridge here, we've got drawers down here, a bit more storage there. There's a sink underneath that one. Got the hob there, and then the combination microwave, and then more storage across here. But again, you can see how this has got, it's like a spray painted finish across here rather than teak everywhere. And then just behind me is the heads. There's a single heads on this boat, so we've got the toilet there, and then we've got the shower and the wash basin in there. You can see the shower at the top. So this has got doors that come across to close this off. And then cabin up here, nice island double bed. Again, a bit more modern in terms of the finishes everywhere, isn't it? Little seat down there. And if we spin around this way, there is hanging locker. And then there's also drawers down underneath the bed. He says, finding cupboards instead. There we go. There's storage under the bed, anyway. So there we are, nice little cabin, that, isn't it? Got opening windows on either side, got the hatch up above, of course. All very lovely, but that's not the only sleeping area. There's another one that's a little bit sort of concealed away. There's more storage down here, like so, pots and pans, whatever you want to keep in there. And then this one here is distribution panel. So 12-volt systems and so forth. Okay, let's head on back because I want to show you this little fella in here. If we lift this one, there we go, we will find another self-contained cabin. And what's quite nice about this is that they've put a double bed in here and a single bed. So you could use this as two singles. So if you've got kids, of course, that's absolutely ideal. If you want a double down here, well, then you've got it. I guess if you've got a small child, you might have a couple and then a small child here if you wanted to. But again, you're seeing this more modern finish in here. Look at the way they've finished this across here, the lights, all that kind of stuff. It's all very nicely done. And again, a bit more storage about the place. So that opens, for example. We've got storage down here, etc. Some quite decent sized windows in here as well. Let's go and take a walk around the outside. There's a flybridge on this one as well to show you. So we'll come back out here. This again, quite often on this style of boat, this is very much just an aft deck. On this, they've made it more of a cockpit with this proper seating in here. That looks good. And then if we wander around this way, slip my shoes back on, you've got nice high rails here. So these are pretty much waist height actually, just about. That's the side access door. What they've done with this is they've put a section here that hinges, so you can open that up. You can see they've cut this away. So if you're short-handed, you can step straight from the helm through there with that out of the way onto the pontoon. There's a cleat there. You can tie up nice and easily. If we head on right up to the bow, this of course is where that fore cabin was, and then your anchor handling kit is up here. And that's how she looks from here with these big searchlights on. The interesting thing about these lights, and the reason they have them, I didn't know this until somebody told me, these are very, very powerful lights. Now out in Finland, they have a huge amount, they have a massive archipelago, a lot of rocks, a lot of islands, all that sort of stuff. They can't light it all. So what they do is they put reflectors on a lot of the rocks. So as you're hammering up at night at 30 knots, you have your spotlights on and it lights up all the reflectors. So that's why you often see this style of boat with those types of lights on, or a light bar like the one next to it. Okay, back down this side, again you've got this lifting section, and that's the door back in to where the helm station was. And we'll come right on back. And then there's some steps here, or a ladder I should say, I suppose, and they take you up to the Flybridge. So helm station is here. Again, it's all a little bit more modern, all a little bit more contemporary with these chairs, these armrests that fold down like this. And then you've got a seating area around here as well. Also up here, of course, radar, nav lights can go up here, and so forth. And then that's the view out across the bow. We are at the Southampton Boat Show today, in case you hadn't noticed. And some more Nord stars along here. Brilliant. Okay, somebody's enjoying themselves. All right. Last thing to talk about then is the motors. And they're under here. So what we need to do is make sure this is open, so it's out of the way. And then there's a button just inside the door here that says hatch open close. That's a bit of a giveaway. You can put a table on here, by the way. That's what these two circular fellows are for. If we power that one up, there we go. So in here we've got a pair of Volvo Penta D6 380 horsepower engines, and these give in the boat, give or take, about 40 knots flat out. So, yeah, maybe a fraction under, fraction over, but that sort of league of performance. Cruising very, very comfortable in the high 20s. Range we don't know, because this is absolutely brand spanking new. It's not been able to try it out yet. However, I was talking to the owner earlier, and he said that he's got an extra fuel tank added to this one to up the range. So it holds 1,000 litres of fuel in order to give him a bit more range from the boat. He's hoping for about 500 or 600 miles from it. I say not been tested yet, but that's the sort of area it's going to be in. You won't get that from a standard boat, but you will get it with the extended range of the larger fuel tank. Table is in here, so that's the cockpit table that we spoke about. And if we look down here, you can see a bit of storage space down there. The fire suppression system is down there. I wonder whether this is the extra tank. Could well be. It's got the fuel filters on the side. And then the hot water system is down there as well. Superb. There we go. Okay, let's drop that one back down. There we are. Okay, I'm going to finish up here on the bow. And that is the Nordstar 36 Plus.